Good evening. Welcome to the Red Bank Council meeting for March the 11th. I know we're all pretty close here in Red Bank, but in the age of coronavirus, we have plenty of seats. I would encourage you guys to sit a little bit apart from each other. Just a cautionary. If not, that's fine.
People get territorial.
Notice of this meeting has been held in accordance with the public laws of 1975, Chapter 231, and adequate notice of this meeting provided by notice sent to the Atchison Press, River Times, and Star Ledger, and posted in the main lobby of the municipal building and on the municipal website. Please rise with the pledge of allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman Morgan? Councilman
She is
Zippert?
not feeling well. Here.
Councilman Yingstrom?
Here.
Councilman Ballard?
Here.
Councilman Triviano? Here. Councilman Seaman?
Here. We do have a quorum, so welcome once again. We have a couple of administrative matters that probably will not be a long meeting, but every time I say that, we're here till 10 o'clock. So the first thing is actually something which we've done for a long time, and we have here in Red Bank, we're proud and really happy to be the center, at least in eastern Loudoun County, in this area, of world-class medical facilities, and especially Hackensack, Meridian, and Riverview Hospital. We also are home to many, many medical practitioners and groups of practitioners who put in a Herculean amount of work for so many people, most of which we never find out about, but it's done because of their consummate professionals. And the Red Bank Gastroenterology Associates has been in the forefront for a long time of bringing awareness in terms of the issues of colorectal cancer and screening and analysis for all of our people at whatever age. And we're fortunate that every year we try to remind people that we should encourage people to do that. And it doesn't hurt. And the thought of it is probably more hurtful than the actual procedure. But when you have extraordinarily good professionals who do it, they lead you through the process and they actually help you out. And in a personal sense, I have to not only welcome, but also say thank you to Dr. Harold Campbell, who was here this evening from Red Bank Gastroenterology, for helping out my dad, who even at age 90, last week had to have a procedure at Riverview. And he told me after he came out of the procedure that the doctor had a velvet glove. And you and your associates couldn't have been more caring. So the message is that March is Colon Cancer Awareness Month, and we should all take it seriously, no matter what age we are, and seek your medical professional, and we will hopefully at some point in our lifetime be able to conquer the scourges of illnesses, but right now we just have to deal with them. So we are proclaiming once again colorectal cancer month in Red Bank, and the proclamation reads as follows. Whereas colorectal cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in the United States among men and women combined, and whereas 1 in 23 Americans will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime, 1 in 5 of those will be diagnosed before the age of 55. And whereas the American Cancer Society recommends that a screening for colon and rectal cancer should begin at age 45 for average risk individuals, and whereas there are now more than 1 million survivors of colorectal cancer in the United States, and whereas the national goal established by the National Colorectal Cancer Roundtable is 80% of American ages 50 or older be screened in every community, and whereas the majority of people in the United States age 45 or older were screened regularly for colorectal cancer half of all cases could be prevented entirely. And whereas it's critical that all people of all ages know the signs and symptoms of the disease, and whereas observing a colorectal cancer awareness month during the month of March would provide a special opportunity to offer education on the importance of early detection and screening. Now therefore I ask Madam Mayor of Borough Red Bank to hereby proclaim March 2020 as Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month in the Borough of Red Bank and urge all of our residents over 50 to be screened for colorectal cancer. Doctor?
You going up on?
Like a man? Yeah.
You're so nice. You should definitely balance it
Better
out.
looking than the two of us.
Balance it out.
And
Good.
she's smarter too.
Disagreement there.
Doctor, or?
Yeah, thank you for bringing awareness. Only 2/3 statistically of people in New Jersey, Monmouth County, are getting their screening as recommended. So thank you for bringing awareness, and more people getting screened, we can largely eliminate this disease.
They're conveniently located right across from Food Town. Just don't park right across the street. Okay. We now have two appointments to the Environmental Commission of Dave Johnson to alternate number 2 and Bob Dorio to Green Team for a term to expire 12/31/2020. Motion to confirm. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a planning board appointment for the unexpired term only to expire 12/31/2020 of Class 4, which statutorily has to be a member of the Environmental Commission as an appointment as a Class 4. Motion to confirm. Christina Bonatakis. So moved. Second. All in favor? Any members have any comments on the public agenda at this time? Ms. Brennan?
Maybe I'm missing it, but the
Cindy, just for the tape.
Cindy
your name
Burnham,
correct.
71 Wallace Street.
Thank you.
I'm missing it, but I thought there was going to be something about the community garden. Wasn't there?
I was. It's only an access agreement from what I saw. I was not here at the workshop meeting. as you
No, I know you weren't, but I thought it was going to be something on the agenda regarding the community garden.
There is an access agreement, a resolution for the access agreement, so the work can be done.
Resolution
Oh.
2098,
Oh,
Yeah.
on the back, resolution 2098.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in the back.
It's a resolution 20-98 authorizing the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection to conduct environmental
Okay.
testing activities
Okay.
on Marion Street, but so
I
does
just have to, now I can ask a question, right,
Sure.
about this. So I see we're doing the DEP, and I understand why we're doing the DEP, but I have to wonder why we wouldn't do the USDA. It's free testing. They test right in the garden. You get instantaneous results. And I just have to understand why. Why wouldn't we want testing with anybody, especially if it's for free?
Well, I'll let the administrator address it, but it would seem to me that the testing by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection would also be part of a state agency, and that should be free to municipalities, but I'll let the administrator address it.
Well, I can only tell you, okay, but I can tell you that,
Okay, let him answer.
I just want to wait there until she's concluded.
Okay.
I was just gonna say that the other community gardens now, because of what's been going on in Red Bank, is now, it's the USDA going around testing all the community gardens. So, and I understand that the DEP takes precedence, but I would just think that, and I know you had told me that they said they weren't going to test because it wasn't a borough employee that made the appointment. But I would ask you, why wouldn't you say, as borough administrator, well, we welcome you, we want you to come please, test. Why wouldn't you do that?
Have you concluded, Ms. Burnham?
Yes.
Okay, so you're concluded. Because we tend to go in a back and forth.
No, she said she has,
Okay,
yes.
all right. So to address this, because Ms. Burnham has over-requested my emails with the USDA, and what those emails have revealed was that I did indicate to the USDA that we are willing and welcome and open to the possibility of them testing. However, we also sent them the results of our engineering firm, which went above and beyond the testing that the USDA would perform, and the USDA did not feel that it was necessary in light of the testing that we have hired paid professionals to do above and beyond what they would do at length. They've done extensive, our engineering firm has done extensive testing and provided a comprehensive report on that matter. So the USDA testing is unnecessary. However, as Ms. Burnham has emails that would demonstrate, I did welcome the USDA to do so. I just told them they need to provide the same exact document that the NJDEP provided to us, which was a site access request, and delineate where the testing and how the testing would be, so that way the mayor and council could approve it as we are doing with the NJDEP. The USDA's testing is, from an agricultural perspective, the NJDEP's testing is an environmental protection perspective. One does not supersede the other. I don't know why that statement keeps being made. USDA is the federal government, the NJDEP is the state government. They're testing for two different things. The NJDEP's testing that we're going over today with this resolution does not actually concern testing at the community garden itself.
Right.
The NJDEP received our results from the community garden and it met their satisfaction. And they indicated that, well, I'll have to pull up the email, but that the levels that they saw did not exceed certain standards. So the testing that they're performing are in the rights of way of adjacent properties, so we can determine the extent of the contamination or possible contamination around that area.
Okay, can I?
No, Ms. Burnham, you said.
You know
were
what,
done.
wait a second. I want to say something. When, a few meetings ago, you let Marie Cavalier come up here. She was a friend of mine. You engaged her, she talked for 15 minutes. You talked to her about joining the historic committee.
That was at the end of the meeting. for
No, it was
January.
at the public portion, but I still
We'll
have
still-
questions about this. And-
Okay, we'll bring it up at the end then, okay? Anybody on agenda items? Agenda, Mr. Wayne?
Do I have to use the mic?
Wait, sure, you do, like everybody else. You had your name.
Freddie Boyd, P.O. Box 2074. A couple of things, Mr. Miller. Just want to say, Mr. Reed passed away yesterday. Herb Reed.
Okay, those are not agenda items.
Huh?
They're not, sit down, they're not agenda items, yeah.
Yeah, but the other thing I want to bring up is the parking.
That's not an agenda item either, so just.
It's on
say
here.
for a second.
It's on here.
What?
It's on here. Handicap parking is on here.
Oh, that, I thought you had a new parking issue for tonight. Okay, go
All
ahead.
right, we get back. All right, Mr. Miller, I got a call today, and one of them was approved. The other one wasn't. The young man said he spoke to the officer, and he said it wasn't approved because she owns it, she got a driveway. And they couldn't give her one because she got a driveway. So I told him I would, ask you what's going on because I don't know, this has been going on for ever since last year now, and I don't understand what's going on.
Are you referring to the one, which one?
Handicap.
I know, but which one?
It's
What is on the agenda?
You got-
It's not the 12 Bank Street one, it's the other one.
Could you give me an address?
Bank Street.
They're both on Bank Street.
The 12 Bank Street one is the one for me.
One is for Elsa and the other for Ms. Daniels. Miss
12 Bank Street, and we don't know the other address.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's it.
But it was submitted, so I
Okay.
just wanted to know what's going on, because,
One was approved by the police department, which we're acting on it now. The other is subject to further review, which it has to be by ordinance, so that's not being introduced tonight yet. One is ready. And the other, evidently, the police department had a question. We don't know what it is. We'll get back to them. and
well,
figure
what
it
I'm
out.
saying is, the guy spoke to the police today, and that was the question that the police gave him. So that's why I'm bringing it up.
I
He got
don't disbelieve you. All I'm saying is we don't have that.
You know, Miss.
No, we don't have a denial.
Yeah, but you know, Mr. Mena, I'm gonna cut this short because this is, we're going back and forth with this, and it shouldn't be like that. I mean, it's games to be played back and forth with people's out here. And if I submitted all those papers that you told me submitted, then the man called twice, yesterday and the day before, then he got an answer today. I mean, this is, I mean, come on. When I have pictures on my phone right now that none of y'all, I think I showed you, Mike, about, that other peoples around here have driveways and handicap spots. And one of them, I'm not gonna bring it up, but she was a councilman here. And both of her family members have a handicap in the driveway, right now in front of their house. That's all I want to say. I'm just saying, it's not right to drag this on.
We have not seen a denial request. We have an approval request. If and when a denial request comes through, we will review it for appropriateness. But
Then
one
we'll
is
come back.
approved, the other one, we don't have anything to deny.
Well, we're looking at next year, right? That's what we're looking at.
No, we're looking 2 meetings.
Anybody else?
It's crazy.
2 meetings.
Okay. Motion to close? Second? All in favor? I move to approve the minutes for February 26, 2020. Motion. So moved. Second? All in favor? Any opposed? Move to approve the workshop minutes for March 3rd. Motion. Second? All in favor? Any opposed? Move to accept the tax collector's annual report 2019. Motion. Second? All in favor? Any opposed? And move to accept the tax collector's report of uncollectible taxes. Motion. Second? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. On ordinances, ordinance 2020-03, the ordinance amending chapter 505 concerning property maintenance of the revised general ordinance for the borough to accept certain sections and clarify others of the International Property Maintenance Code. Any members of the public wish to be heard on this? Not seeing none, motion to close. Second. All in favor? Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second. Roll call.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Trujillo?
Yes.
Councilman Ballard?
Yes.
Councilman Ingstrom?
Yes.
Councilman Zipper?
We now have a number of ordinances for first reading, not for final adoption. The first ordinance is ordinance 2020-04, amending chapter 608 of streets and sidewalks relating to the placement of telecommunications facilities on public rights of way. These are standard with respect to some of our easements that we have for telecommunications. Motion to introduce.
Motion.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Public hearing will be on March 25, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. The second ordinance is ordinance 2020-05. It's an ordinance amending chapter 680, vehicles and traffic, regarding 680-60. And this is a schedule for restricted parking for handicapped persons in the borough of Red Bank. The description is set forth in a property known as 12 Bank Street, and the designation is on the ordinance. Motion to introduce. Second. All in favor? Any opposed? The public hearing is March 25th, 2020. The third ordinance is ordinance 2020-06, regarding the amendment of General Ordinances to revise the Section 680-35, Section I, and Chapter 680 regarding parking and traffic to prohibit parking on both sides of the entire length of Ice Boat Lane, except for 3 public parking spaces granted by the easement from the owner of Block 901, lots 6.01 and 07. Motion to introduce. Second.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Public hearing will be on March 25th. Last is ordinance 2020-07, authorizing the acquisition of a permanent parking easement affecting block 9.01, lot 601 and 7 from the owner for the purpose of creating 3 public parking spaces on Ice Boat Lane. Motion to introduce. Second.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Public hearing will be on March 25th, 2020. Resolution 20-86, authorizing payment of bills amounting to $3,776,640.46.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? The following resolutions, unless there is an opposition, should be considered en masse unless there's a question, and we can pull it. I would move to introduce Resolution 2087, 88, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, and 98 as one omnibus resolution. Any members have any objection to any one of them?
I'm sorry, Mayor, did you exclude 20-89?
I did, because that's actually a refund that has to be in a separate, in my opinion, because we're actually paying back the judge, which has got to separate.
Okay, so the next one, which is also accurate, that's okay?
Yeah, because those are overpayments by error, yeah.
Okay.
So with the exception of 89?
Yeah, with the exception.
One motion to move the new cost.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now we get to Resolution 2089, resolution authorizing tax credit or refunds totaling $8,453.69 to the judgment of the tax court of New Jersey based upon the recommendation of our assessor and tax council. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Comments by Mayor and Council. Michael?
Oh, me, Mike. I have no report.
Oh, thank you. Ed?
Thanks, Mayor. First, I wanted to thank Terrence Walton and the entire Buildings and Grounds team from DPU for taking the extra steps to sanitize the building every day to ensure the health of our borough employees and visitors. We've all heard that Governor Murphy has declared a state of emergency as of March 9th in response to the first case of COVID-19 in the state. I want to be clear that this new step is not a sign of panic. Declaring an emergency allows New Jersey to have access to more resources, legal flexibility to act quickly, contain the outbreak, and protect our most vulnerable communities. The facts surrounding coronavirus change every day, but as of right now, there are 15 reported cases in the state, and 3 new presumptive cases here in Monmouth County. Senator Menendez issued a statement earlier this week about the first death in New Jersey from the coronavirus, and he and Senator Booker have urged Secretary DeVos to issue guidance to schools, families, and students on school closures and procedures. Strategies to protect yourself and your loved ones currently remain the same. Wash your hands frequently, keep your hands away from your face, use at least 60% alcohol-based hand sanitizer, and stay at home from work and public places if you are feeling unwell, and avoid group events such as parades and conferences. I know the borough administrator was designated to participate in last week's informational session with the Health Commission, and they want to share any additional knowledge that he's gained. But from a piece of correspondence from the Regional Health Commission, they have been working closely with the Department of Health, local hospitals, and our public health partners in this evolving situation. Governor Murphy's executive order to declare the state public health emergency will allow the state resources to be utilized during the borough's response efforts to COVID-19. The Commission continues to stress that the public use proper hygiene techniques to stop the spread of the virus. And again, these habits include washing your hands with soap and water, creating lather for 20 seconds. You can say happy birthday twice before turning off the faucet with a towel. Avoid touching your eyes, your nose, your mouth. Cover your nose and your mouth with a tissue if your elbow if you sneeze, and then we can put a tissue in a trash bin. Avoid close contact with those who are coughing or sneezing, and stay at home if you're sick. If you feel you may have been exposed, monitor your symptoms. If you become ill with fever, a cough, or shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider. And if you have any questions about COVID-19, call the New Jersey State Hotline at 1-800-222-1222. Thanks.
Thank you. And as you know, we've been attending a number of OEM meetings. I want to publicly thank the OEM coordinator, Tom Welsh, as well as our business administrator, chief of police, and his staff, the fire chief, and his staff, and indeed all members of the Borough family who have been getting the message out and having departmental meetings with a number of adjacent municipalities to coordinate a unified response that has been in cooperation with Hackensack Meridian in a very collegiate, comprehensive manner.
Nothing to report.
Eric?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Couch to 5K is starting on March 24th at 7 p.m. Adults are encouraged to register. This class is an introduction to running, and all fitness levels are welcome to join. Please contact Parks and Rec if you want to join into that. The annual egg hunt will take place on April 11th at 10 a.m. at Count Basie Fields. So spread the word so everybody can make it to that event. And there are still spots available in the kids' spring break camp, April 13th to 17th, and the spring break trip to Jenkinson's, April 15th. Please contact Parks and Rec for more information and to sign up. Thanks.
Thank you. Kate?
Nothing to report for environmental commission or police and fire. But I did want to thank Rabbi Mark Klein and the Mount Reform Temple that's currently barbecuing outside in the parking lot for our police officers as they change shift. They said they'll have plenty of extra food, so if anybody wants to run outside and grab a burger or hot dog, you're more than welcome. So just wanted to thank them for their kind community gesture.
Thank you for joining me, Commissioner, for Chief Nago's funeral that I presided at, as well as Sergeant Patterson's. We lost two good people. Total between both of them in terms of the fire service is over 100 years of volunteer service. So good men. Next, we move on to special events request for final review for the Board of Education Preschool Olympics at Count Basie on May 15th from 10 to 11:30. Motion.
So moved.
Second. Second. All in favor? Request from Red Bank Charter School to hold the 8th grade graduation at Riverside Gardens Park on June the 11th, 2020. We're rain date between 12. Motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? And request from St. Anthony Tyler to hold its annual procession on the Feast of St. Anthony, which is now their 100th anniversary, beginning at Peter's Place and traveling to St. Anthony via Chestnut Street on June 13th, with a picnic on the church property. Motion.
So,
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any members of the public have any questions regarding any issue? Now's the time to do it. Ms. Burnham?
Good evening again, Cindy Burnham, 71 Monmouth. At your workshop meeting the other day, I spoke to you about those JCP&L polls, and I took pictures today. I just want to pass those. I mean, it's really upsetting, because these are all on Monmouth Street, and Monmouth Street is a very heavily traveled sidewalk, people with strollers, double strollers, kids, school, pardon me?
You said Mom. You meant Mechanic?
Yeah. Well, did I say Monmouth?
Yeah, just one.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. They're all on Mechanic. I mean, you've got school bus stops. They're huge boulders. And I know I had addressed this about a year ago with a telephone pole on Wallace Street across from Gaetano's that had been done over like this, but there was so much concrete left around. I don't know who cleaned it up. I think we ended up doing it, Red Bank. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. Also, what I want to make you guys aware of, can I go on? Okay. You know our new school access street? People are using it at night to go from the school to Locust. Okay, you've got taxis and you've got people in Locust Landing that go through the school, use the access road, and that way the automatic things open up. But that's been happening, and I know this because my friend,
Cindy, you're talking about vehicles or pedestrians?
I'm talking about taxis,
Taxis. okay.
and I'm talking about cars, yes, vehicles. Of course, people, but,
Yeah.
you know, I don't think that
So,
vehicles should be using it.
We just dedicated it half hour ago.
Okay.
Let's get the police to, that's not.
Oh, the police have been alerted. She's called the police. She's done everything that she could do. But I don't know. So I'm giving it to you guys.
Cindy, on these photos that you gave us, I walked the street yesterday.
Oh, you did?
And I noticed that a lot of the poles haven't had their lines moved over to attach to the new poles when they're adjacent to one of the poles that eventually will come out. So I imagine that's part of what.
That's been there, Ed, for a year and a half.
But the equipment at the top of the poles haven't been connected yet. So.
No, well, I
But what
think
she's saying is a practical matter.
it's a safety matter. It's a
What she's saying
liability
is a
problem.
safety matter. If you're not going to remove the pole, you don't start excavating it 6 months before you do it and leave the concrete on the sidewalk, right?
And huge boulders.
I know that they're a public utility, but frankly, let's get code enforcement issue summons to JCP now. I'm sick and tired of this stuff.
Well, wouldn't this be a DPW, the DPW thing?
DPW isn't to create the mess. We should not be in the business of correcting the crap.
I
For
agree.
other utility companies who don't bother cleaning up after
Well, we let
themselves.
this thing go for a year and a
So I'm getting
half.
upset over this because you're right.
Thank you.
And, you know, we really should do something.
One more thing.
It's not the first time it's happened.
No. Again, regarding the garden, there was a bank account for the garden. We had money in the bank account because we had a grant. There were things behind the shed that I bought, tools, there were bins. Where did all those things go?
Was that?
Per the resolution of the council, I'll answer all questions at the end, Mayor.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Is that the question?
That's a question, yes, that was a question,
Okay, you're done, right?
yes.
Do we know yet, or are we going to do it?
Yes, a message was sent out to all members involved with the community garden that DPW has collected and gathered all equipment and has left them at the garage and indicated to those individuals that when they would like to pick them up, they are more than welcome to obtain them.
Well, you know, it would have been nice if I had gotten it, since I fought for the garden for 3 years, I attended it for 8 years, and for you to come in and completely block me out of the situation is beyond anything I can think of. Thank you. Go on.
Anybody else? Sir?
What do you need from me? My name?
Yes, please.
Walter Lau, an address, 34 East Bergen Place in
Sorry, what
Runbank.
was your last name and your address?
Lau, L-A-U,
And your address?
34 East Bergen.
Thank you.
And how much time do I have?
Okay, you got it.
Okay, I was just curious. I don't need that much time. I'm just here, my first meeting. It's great that, I love, this town's great. You guys are awesome. You do a great job. Been here for 5 years, but my issue is that on East Bergen Place, there's a lot of truck traffic coming through. And it's not just East Bergen, it's Irving, it's Waverly, it's all the cross streets. And there's not one thing being done about it. There's nothing being done. I've never seen anybody pulled over. I've never seen a cop do anything about it. Nothing.
Are you saying, are you done, sir?
No, I'm not done.
Oh, okay.
I'll keep going. You can talk
No,
about it.
no, just finish everything, we'll try to get it down.
So it's just,
Not you.
What?
Just the whole form.
so the weight limit's 4 tons, which I think is about, what, 8,000 pounds? You see a box truck coming through, that's easily 16,000 pounds. I'm on East Bergen Place. You guys approved the budget for it, right? How much was the project? 1 million? 1.5? 1.8? How much was it? I don't know. They're driving over this street. They're destroying it. What's the point of repaving the street? Just have trucks come right over it. Doesn't make sense. I have kids. I back out of my driveway. There's a truck coming down the road. What am I going to do? Get hit? What's it gonna take? What's it gonna take? Have a truck come through and kill somebody? You know they don't do 25 miles an hour. That's a speed limit. They don't do that. You know that. They can't stop. You pull the truck over, the cop pulls it over, you do an inspection. The brakes don't work, I bet. The diesel emissions are out of spec, everything. And from what I know is that I think your ordinance, you can get $2,000 for a violation. So what I'm thinking is start enforcing this, put some signs up, more visible signs, because the sign you have now is what? 1.5 feet? Get $2,000 per violation, or whatever it is, $500, I don't care. Put some signage up. Do a general deterrent, do a specific deterrent. I don't know, you guys are professionals, right? You guys run it, the cops run it, you guys talk to the police. I've gone to the police, I got left out of the station. Really funny, right? I told him, what did he say to me? I was there on a Tuesday. I work from home. So I went down on Tuesday. Oh, I wish I can come here on a Tuesday during the day. Well, I'm here, That's, that's what I do. I talked to one of the captains and just got brushed away. But, whatever, it's fine. So when something happens, somebody gets hurt, seriously hurt or killed, who knows? Who's it on? While we're on East Bergen Place, how about the speeding? I think that should be addressed too. It's great that there's a cop there once in a while to maybe walk the kids across the street because there's no crossing guard at South and East Bergen. There are stop signs, but who stops? I don't think anybody stops.
I stop.
I stop too, because you live
My
here.
daughter lives
Because you
here.
live here. It's people driving through. Where do you live?
No, my daughter lives on the corner of Bergen and South.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. But nothing's being done. There's nothing. Nothing. So, it's great when the cop sits there and people see him, they stop. But how about we do a little, covert action or something and just get these people while they're going through the stop sign. Get them speeding, doing 50 down the street. It's a residential street. So while we're on East Bergen Place, again, so we got speeding trucks, then we have the project, right? Is the project done? I can't tell. I know broad is an issue because it's a county road or whatever it is. I think I talked to Ms. Horgan, and she said she was going to address it. But where are the lines? Are there lines? Is there a bike lane? Is there a bike lane? I think there's a bike lane. I don't know, because people drive on it. There's no line. How am I going to drive? How does somebody ride on a bike lane when there's no line on it? There's lines on Bridge Street, right? You want to have people bike from Branch down East Bergen to James Parker to Bridge to the train station? That's great. I think that's a great idea. But there's no lines painted. There's a crosswalk, or supposed to be a crosswalk. There's a sign for it on Hudson and East Bergen Place. No crosswalk. When did that project end? Last year? No lines. What's that?
It's not done yet.
Where's the crosswalk? It's a simple nobody stops. if you had a crosswalk, nobody stops. If there's no crosswalk, nobody is gonna stop. Nobody knows to stop. So that's my, whatever, I don't know. I have solutions if you want to hear them. Bigger signage for the trucks. I think if it's enforced, get some money. I don't know if you guys can take money from enforcement of ordinances and apply it to putting signage up, getting speed signs that give feedback on how fast you're going. They're not that expensive. I said that to the cops in the police station, and he said, ha, we don't have that money. That's what he said.
I would love to have a little sidebar after the meeting with you.
I appreciate it.
However,
a lot of anger, not from you guys.
No, I hear your statements, and the frustration level is high because I have to confess the frustration level that your experience is, although it is repressed in some of us, it's just as high.
Yeah, I pay a lot of taxes in this borough. I pay more than the average person, I think, and East Bergen Place, they're expensive houses. I pay a lot of money for my house. You know, if it was on a truck route, it would be a lot less, right? But I pay
There
the
is a weight
premium.
limitation on there, it has to be enforced. So let me talk to you after.
Right. So I think it's 680-4A if you want to
That's
look
great.
at it. Right?
But I want to
schedule
I want to
5.
find out who you've been speaking to, more importantly.
Well, I
No,
can't,
not
I
in
know
the
the
open
station.
meeting.
It was Captain Freezy, I don't know, is that his name? I don't know. All right,
Thank you.
is that it? Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Lewis.
Thanks for coming.
Anybody else?
What, is that an issue?
It's good to
I
have
gotta
people
put my
come.
presents
Suzanne Viscomi, 25 Cedar Place. Just to back up this gentleman, I drive that road every morning to work, and there is a crossing guard on South, but he sits in his car most of the time.
Not in the afternoon. I pick my kid up every day, there's nobody there.
Okay, we can't have a discussion back.
I'm
and
sorry.
forth This run thing.
So I just wanted to say
I don't know the
that
rules.
it is true, he does sit in his car. I have pictures because I'm curious of why we pay people to sit in their car when you have Mr. Cole Morgan, who's awesome about crossing the street. You have another gentleman, up Bergen, who's awesome about crossing the street, greeting every kid. And this other gentleman sits in his car all day. So I was just curious because they get paid a lot of money to sit there.
Doesn't show up.
I want to say something.
Doesn't show up.
I think there's a lady in the back.
I just want to say this real quick, that when I was on council and when we had the majority, I said to the chief, I said, we need a four-way stop at the intersection of Bergen and South. Because not Dr. Stone, Klein, what's his name, Rabbi Klein, his daughter had gotten hit backing out on her bike to go to high school. And the chief told me that the intersection didn't warrant a four-way stop. Well, as soon as the Democrats got their majority, they got their four-way stop. And you know what that says to me? It says that the Democrats care more about getting things done on their dime than doing the right thing for the people of Red Bank, for their safety. That's what I want to say.
Next.
Hi, everyone. Melanie Douglas, 201 Dr. James Parker Boulevard.
I'm sorry, we couldn't hear you.
Melanie Douglas.
Hi, Ms. Douglas.
You need my address?
Yes, please.
Oh, 201 Dr. James Parker Boulevard.
Thank you.
So, this is my second meeting, and I'm glad to be here. I'm not really sure how this works, but do you talk about the parking for downtown Red Bank in the next meeting, or is it safe to address it in this
It's
one?
not on the agenda tonight.
Okay, so then it'll probably be like the next.
You can talk about it. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, there's nothing really much to talk about. I just wanted to know where we left off with changing the times. And personally, so I work at the Chasen on Broad Street, and you know, we obviously have like customers that don't really care for the parking situation, the lack thereof. So I guess whenever it's really for your convenience, to let us know what you.
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
we're
that.
still discussing it. so
Yeah, I
thank you
figured
so
that.
much.
And then, oh yeah, so there's a Mercedes parked in front of the branch that got hit probably 2 weeks ago, and we've called the police multiple times to see like what happens, because apparently it was hit by one of the construction or I guess utility trucks. It's like the bumper got ripped off. And there was no notification. I don't know if anybody contacted anybody, but yeah, it's been sitting there for 2 weeks and it just keeps piling on tickets, and I don't know if it needs to be towed. I mean, I would figure because it's just taking up one of those lack of parking spots that people could use. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that that happened. It's right in front of the branch. It's a black Mercedes-Benz.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Anybody, Mr. Boyd?
Freddie Boyd, P.O. Box 2074. What that young gentleman spoke about, traffic and speeding, I've been complaining about that over 3 or 4 years right here at this council.
So just walk out and wait?
No, I'm just saying. We have problems on the west side. And what you said opened the door when you said commercial vehicles. We have it on west side, we have residential area, but you got commercial vehicles parking on the streets using for a parking lot. I've been bringing it up. And speeding, you came get down some of the streets down there. I think Michael Ballard, you came out tonight, it was raining and one flew right by, raining and everything. Wet him and me both. We have a problem here with these cars speeding up and down these little streets. We have a lot of kids, especially some of these streets on the west side are small. There's nothing getting done. We come down here, we speak about it, you put it on the back burner, this and that, nothing getting done. And I hear where you're coming from, because I raised the issue about West Bergen and Layton Avenue. I got hit. It's supposed to be it should be a four-way stop sign. People don't know the area. Lady came right through the stop sign. I complained about that. They didn't put a four-way stop sign up there. They need one there. They have a liquor store on the corner. A lot of traffic come down late. People's coming off Newman Springs Road on the lake. You got to get killed before they really actually move on something in this town. I hate to say that. But that's what had to happen.
Anybody else? Okay, do we have need for an executive session? Okay, so is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?